Good morning, boys and girls. It is day 9 of our life cycle of a chicken unit. It is April the 29th. Today is Thursday, and we only have 12 days left until our chicks hatch. We're going to start today by looking at the timeline and how far the chicks have come in just 9 days. So remember, on day 1, the head, brain, and eyes begin to form. On day 2, the veins and heart begin to form and the heart begins to beat. On day 3, the beak, wings, and legs begin to form. Day 4, the tongue begins to form. Day 5, the embryo became either a male or female. Day 6, the egg tooth begins to form and the embryo begins to breathe. Day 7, the legs and wings begin to form. Yesterday, we had the feathers begin to form, and today, take a look at the difference just between yesterday and one day. Isn't it amazing how much they change day to day? But today, the mouth opening begins to appear. So, you know, they have a beak and they have that's part of their mouth, and so the mouth opening begins to appear. And so we're going to take a look at our vocabulary words. Write some of these down on your paper to use today in your writing. Chicken, rooster, hen, incubator. These are all words that we've gone over every day, and you know what they mean, so you can go tell an adult in your house and write about these today. Embryo, nest, roost we said was a verb, to sit or sleep on. Brood is what we're going to call the group of newly hatched chicks. The air sac is the sac, and we saw those yesterday when we were candling our eggs, but the sac of air that the chick will first breathe before hatching. The beak is the hard pointed part of the chicken's mouth, and it's used to pick up food. And today, let's look a little bit more at that egg tooth we've been talking about. The egg tooth is the part of the chick's beak that helps the chick break out of the shell. So pretty soon, in 12 days, you're going to start seeing these chicks stick their little egg tooth outside of the shell, because that's the part of the beak that helps them to break out. Now, since today is day 9, remember how Miss White said that day 9 and day 10 are really the best days to candle? So I'm going to turn the light off and get us our flashlight out. And I'm going to pick out 1 or 2 of these eggs to look at and see if we see a big difference from yesterday. Set the camera up so you guys can see very well, okay? Scoot it over a tab. Let's look first at this big brown egg. Now you guys can see that it's brown from there, can't you? Let's take our flashlight and shoot up right in the bottom of the egg and see what we can see on the inside. All right. Now, do you see, I'm going to try to show you something on there. I'm not sure you can see it on there, but can you see how this egg, let me show you in the light because this is really neat. If you can see really well, this egg looks different. When I move it around, it actually looks like there are bubbles inside. I do not see a dark line coming down one side with a light line on the other. Do you? In fact, I kind of see where it's like bubbles all the way through the egg. There is no embryo inside this egg, boys and girls. So this is the one that I was concerned about yesterday, the one that I wasn't really sure whether or not we had a chick. But moving it around, if you can see this dark spot right there, if you were here in person, you could tell that it moves when I move the egg, and it's actually part of the yolk inside of like an egg that you would scramble to make scrambled eggs at home. That's the yolk floating around inside there. It does not have any dark parts to the egg, so there is no chicken in this egg. So we're going to take this one out of the incubator because it's not going to become a baby chicken 12 days. All right, now let's get another one and look at one that does have an embryo inside. All right, I'm going to take another brown egg. This is a small brown egg. Let me turn the light off so we can see up inside with our flashlight. And we'll cover it really good. Okay. Now, boys and girls, girls, I hate to tell you this, but I think we have another one that has not developed into a baby chick. I am twisting it all around, and the yolk keeps moving with me, and there is no embryo inside. So now we're down to 22 baby chicks. Let's get another one. Let's check them in. All right, now this one looks different. Oh, boys and girls, you're gonna love this. Let me see if I can block out all that light so you can see. Can you see inside there? First, let's look and see that dark line coming down. All right, let Miss White get it to where you can see really well as I can. Do you see that dark line coming down the egg? This side is dark, this side is really light. So this is the side where the embryo is growing, and look right there. Look right there at that black dot floating around. That right there is our embryo. Can you see that? That's not our O. That's my O I wrote on our egg. This little black dot floating around is our baby chick. Do you see that? I'm going to turn him a little bit like you guys wrote about. He probably feels like he's on a roller coaster. That is our little egg right there. And look, if you look really closely, you can see the O and you can see the black dot. That's the chicken, but you can also see the blood vessels coming through on the membrane part. And if I keep turning, you'll see that light and that dark spot again, right? All right, let's put this one back. It's just growing, growing, growing. And let's get us another one. Today, I just turned them over to the X side. That's the way that Miss White remembers how many times I've turned them. Remember, they have to be turned 3 times for the first 16 days, and then after day 17, you don't turn them anymore. Now, this one's really clear, isn't it? Look at that dark line back there. The whole egg, if you can see all the way down, the whole egg is dark, and the whole side over here is light. Those other 2 eggs, they didn't have that. Now let's look really closely and see if we can see our chicken in there moving around. Look at our embryo. Oh, how neat. Look, you can actually see it attached to the blood vessels and floating around. There's our O that we wrote on there, and there's that black dot is our baby chick floating around in there. Isn't that awesome? All right, let's do one more. That one, by the way, was a green egg. So far we've looked at a light brown one and a green one. Let's try a dark brown one. This egg probably came from a Rhode Island red chick. They're very reliable as far as laying. Let's see what we can see in this one. Okay, now boys and girls, I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and I do not see a dark line. So I think another one that we thought had an embryo in it yesterday doesn't. Let's see. Is it moving when I move? See, some of these looked dark yesterday, but now I can tell since the baby chick has grown that that dark spot I thought was the actual embryo was really the yolk just floating around inside the egg. So this one does not have a baby chick either. We are down to 21 fertilized eggs. Let's get one more to see if it does have. Then I'm going to go through and check all of them again. So far we have 21 baby chicks. Now look at that. Let me turn it around where you can see. See that dark side and the light side? That's what we're looking for. I see my O on there. Let's keep turning and see that little dark dot right there. Not the O that I wrote on there, but the little dark dot. That is our embryo. Let's see if we can see him floating around inside. I'll hold the egg real still so you can see it move. See him moving? I'm not doing that. This is our embryo moving inside. See him floating all around? Whoa! Awesome. All right, so boys and girls, we have 12 days, and these little embryos are going to be cheeping all over Miss White's classroom. So you guys will get to come in for that week of testing, and hopefully you'll be able to see some of these little baby chicks. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to make a second video today because I have already looked through all of the eggs and I've seen which ones have embryos and which ones I can tell for sure that do not. There are 2 down here. I'm going to show you which ones they are. This brown one and this green one right down here at the bottom, they're smaller than the rest of them. And because they're a little bit darker and because they're smaller, I can't tell quite yet. I'm still just sort of waiting to see what I can see. But these right here, I want you to see these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 do not have an embryo in them. When I set them on the flashlight and I turn around, all I see is a yellow yolk. Do you see that? A yellow yolk turning around with me when I turn the egg. But I don't see a dark line and a light line like the other ones. So this definitely, let me see it, you can see it better right there, just has a yellow yolk in it, doesn't it? And the yolk is just turning every time I turn the egg. So that one does not, whoops, knock the flashlight over. That one does not have an embryo. And see, you can see the same thing in this one. See that yellow ball? And it just turns all the way around the egg when you turn it. So it does not have an embryo in it either. Just, you see that yellow yolk flying around. And then this one, see, if you can see up on the top, see where the, look up on the top where the air sac should be, but instead you just see liquid floating around and air pockets like a cup. Let's see, like a sippy cup maybe that has a top on it, has liquid in it, and when you set it down, there's an opening up there at the top that doesn't have liquid. That's what it looks like. And again, every time I turn it over, see that pocket of air where the liquid, it doesn't fill up this whole egg, just floats with it. That spot that you see moving every time I turn the egg is the yolk, not the embryo. Remember, the embryo gets on one side and stays there because you've got that dark membrane full of blood vessels and all of that over there on that side, and so the embryo stays on one side. If you turn the egg like this, it would not float down to the other side because it just stays on one side as it grows. And the other side you have light, right? And as it gets bigger, it will take up more of the egg. But on all of these, on all 5 of these, you can tell that there's just liquid inside there, and that floats around with you, and the yolk turns around every time we turn the egg. So these do not have embryos in them. So boys and girls, what is 24 take away 5? Because we just lost 5 of our eggs. We do not have chickens in these. So 24 take away 5, and we also have 2 more that we're going to watch carefully over the next day or 2 to see if it actually has an embryo inside or not. So go ahead and do your math problem for today. 24 take away 5, and see how many chicks we might have in 12 days.